Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Accidental Thoughts. I'm Jason,
I'm Jimmy.
and welcome to the Groundhog Day special.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a very special day. I'm not
Right,
trying to
that's what
say
I'm
that.
hearing anyway.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to say that in a bad way. I mean, I think it's a great thing. I do. I think it's a great thing. That people want to, have some kind of a, get together or something. But at the same time, when you look into it, it's just totally like, wait a minute, what is this? And that's where the rabbit hole took me. This accidental thought took me to the fact of what is this about? What is the lore about, the Groundhog Day? And
Right?
I guess, you know, if you don't know, and I know you got it pulled up on your screen as well, but if you don't know, and if anybody doesn't understand this, the lore of the groundhog started from over basically, I think it was in Germany or something, because they took it after the fact of the badger.
In European, yeah.
Yeah, from a badger. And it was an idea because they used it for the fact of, somehow prophesying the weather to come in
Right.
4 weeks. And then they came here and they said, okay, we'll just use this and we'll just make it 6 weeks so we're, unique. But where they went with it after that, it's kind of,
From what you're telling me, yeah, it's got a
oh my
pretty
gosh.
varied history and whatnot.
Well, let's
So,
let's start with the let's start with the let's start with the star of the show, shall we? Let's start with
Punxsutawney.
Phil. Phil is a 139-year-old groundhog.
I'm calling BS on that right now. What'd you say they lived when we were talking earlier in captivity? Five to
six
eight
years.
years or
A
something like that?
groundhog lives anywhere
Yeah.
between 6 years in the wild to 14 years if they are in a more controlled atmosphere. 6 to 14
Right.
years. Now you may be asking yourself, "Whoa, how did Phil pull it off?" Well,
How?
Phil gets a special elixir. That is how he is
And the
managed.
FBI hasn't shut this down yet and marketed it.
I don't know. I mean, man,
Uh,
I can think of several different things. I can think of individuals that would be knocking over
mm-hmm.
this stump over here that's containing this special elixir that provides
Exactly.
the fruit of life. 139-year-old groundhog.
Exactly. It's the fountain of youth, apparently.
Exactly. And it's like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't even add up. And the thing is,
Right.
they claim that it is. Now, again, I'm not trying to, you know, discredit the fact of Groundhog Day. I don't know about you.
Right.
I don't know about anybody else. I always thought that Groundhog Day was basically that this little groundhog would come out of the hole, and if he was spooked by his shadow, oh, that means he saw the shadow. But if he didn't even get spooked, it meant the other, the latter of the two. So it's like, okay, but that's not the case
But
at
have you
all.
ever watched? It's like we were talking about earlier. You have to
Yeah,
yank that poor guy
yeah, they
out of
sit there
his
with a cane.
trunk
It's like
stump
he's
there.
yeah. It even says on their website online that they have to
hmm
coax him out of the burrow, coax him out with his cane. So they're
Coax
beating
him.
on.
Yeah. Is that what you want to call that? Dude's just trying to
So they're
sleep,
beating on
man.
this. They're beating on this stuff. Hey, get your old ass out here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And then he comes
Right.
out, and of course, you know, he basically speaks. I'm gonna let that absorb with you for just a second. He speaks
Right.
to one individual and tells him the good news in
Or the bad
groundhoggy,
news.
grad, groundhoggies, whatever you want to call it,
Groundhoggies. Okay.
groundhoggies. Yep. And I was like, what? And I know this all sounds kind of crazy, and I know it does, but at the same time, is it crazy that I read this online that that's what they posted for you to understand how they work? This is how it works, and I'm like, what? That don't even make sense. I mean, first of all, it's a
Makes about as
139
much
year old.
sense as a 139-year-old groundhog.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, they just let him get married last year or 2 years ago, whatever. Oh, he got
So what
married
were they
to
doing before?
Phyllis. Yeah, that's original Phyllis. hmm And they had two kids.
So is she Phyllis Phil?
I don't
Since
know,
he's
dude.
Punxsutawney Phil?
Yeah. My curiosity, I could have a whole slew of questions. I wonder what their last name is. I mean, what
Phil.
is it?
If you
What is
go
it?
by the names they give, he is
Yeah.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah, but I
I don't
mean,
think he has a longer name, does he?
I don't know. I mean, so what? He's married to Punxsutawney Phyllis.
Or she's Phyllis, you know. Phyllis Phil? I don't
I don't
know.
know. Anyway, so they apparently last year or whatever it was, 2 years ago, I think it was two. It was in
Hmm.
23, 22, something like that. They had two kids, and I'm like,
Okay.
wow, that's 139 years old and hmm, pumping them out. I want to know what's in
No
that
duh. Well,
elixir.
yeah, I mean, if it holds true, like with human men, we're ready to go even as we're on our deathbed. But
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just it's jacked up, dude. I mean, I'm like, what? I mean, okay, there's a group of people. There's a group, okay?
hmm.
I'm going to call it group. I'll let you call it what you want. Okay?
Okay.
It's
We'll
called
have to
the
see about that.
Punxsutawney. I can tell you. Once I read this, part of you is going to say, you know what this sounds like? So here it is. Punxsutawney Groundhog Club's Inner Circle. That is the name of their group. I don't know how, I mean, could you shorten it?
Okay.
Whatever. But it consists of 15 people. 15. Okay.
Okay.
And their purpose is basically to take care of the groundhog, apparently to administer his elixir, promote Groundhog Day, through whatever, caring for him, things of that nature. Now they do during events and stuff. They wear the tuxedos and the top hats, and these gentlemen and
Right.
women. I think there's actually women that work out of the 15 people. I think there is, but anyway, they during the day just work regular, normal everyday jobs, but in their spare time, they go to their sanctum and do this groundhog thing.
Sanctum.
So anyway,
They have a sanctum?
I don't know. I
Really?
just threw that in there, dude, because I mean, with everything else, it
Okay.
wouldn't shock me because I'm sitting there going, "What?" So anyway, there
Right.
these dudes, these people that are part of this group. They have nicknames: Frostbite, Rainmaker, Iceman, Moonshine. These are people that are dressed in tuxedos.
Moonshine.
Yeah, they're wearing tuxedos, tops
So
hats.
is
I
he
mean,
in charge of the elixir?
exactly. I want to know. You'll be just fine. Hold
Is that
on.
the elixir?
Yeah,
I think I'll start drinking more moonshine if it is.
exactly. But here's the thing. Okay, the group itself,
Hmm.
the Groundhog Day event or whatever you want to call it, has been going on since the 1886, 87, something like that. And
Right.
in that time frame, he he has been claimed to he is never Phil, mind you, Punxsutawney Phil has never
Hmm.
been incorrect. Okay, now
He's never been incorrect.
he has never been incorrect. Now here's the thing.
How is that so?
Uh, it gets interesting. I'm glad you asked. Here's the thing. If Doolittle misinterprets what he said to him Oh, well, then it's his fault, but it's not Phil's. Phil is never wrong. Okay.
But I thought he spoke Groundhogese.
I don't know. Maybe Phil didn't teach him correctly or something. I don't know. I mean, I wonder what the
So
noise
they uphold a record of perfection
the groundhog does.
by saying
The groundhog
that the
does.
groundhog is always right, but they're just too dumb to figure it out.
No, they're correct 60% of the time, or something like that. I think
So,
it's like
so
60 to
having gone on
60%.
140 some odd years, or right at
Correct.
140 years,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying that they misunderstand the groundhog after
Yeah, they
140 years of
misinterpreted
lessons
what
in
he said.
groundhogese,
Right.
that
So
they misinterpret what he says.
instead of him going, "Oh," it was supposed to be. I don't know. I have no idea how to speak groundhoggies. I don't get it,
Groundhogese,
and I'm
right?
like, it doesn't
Well, I
make
mean, you'd
sense.
think it'd be something as simple as them going, "Hey, are we having more winter?" And it'd be a simple one-word answer: yes or no.
Well, yeah, but I
Take the
mean,
red pill or the blue pill. you
right.
know?
Wonder what color the elixir is.
Hmm. Moonshine. Hey,
Moon's, I don't know.
that's my guess. Since one of
You'll
them's
be just
nicknamed
fine.
Moonshine.
You'll be just fine. You got it. You got this. Get out there and
Yeah.
knock them dead. But thing is that
Here,
in all these
here,
years,
drink some engine degreaser.
but the thing is, you only have two. He chooses one of two things. There's an early spring or 6 more weeks of winter. Okay,
6 more
from
weeks. Yep.
from basically the 1800s when this all originated and started until about the late 60s, early 70s. Only four
Mm-hmm.
times did he ever say whatever they say. I don't know how they talk. Okay, so anyway, the thing is that eventually he just said, "Oh, early spring's coming." But since the 70s, it's been predicted 16 times. So there's only been 20 times ever in the existence of this 139-year-old groundhog. Even saying that makes me kind of like, what? But anyway,
Right.
so but
Yeah,
one
it doesn't.
year,
It doesn't make sense. You know, um, he's always been right, but he's only predicted an early spring 16 times
since the
or
70s,
20
yes,
times in the
yes,
140 years.
yes, roughly somewhere in there. But at the same time, one year he didn't guess either way, and
Right.
that was something that made me curious. Accidental thought about that is he said it was said that he couldn't determine due to the fact of the war clouds in 1942. This is in
The war clouds.
war cloud. Look it up. Look it up.
How
I'm not a.
far can a groundhog actually see?
That's what I'm curious. Not
Would be
only
my
that,
question.
it's in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
my question is this: in 1942,
hmm
was there war clouds? Because I'm picturing, like you know, dark clouds from smoke or stuff like that. That was that going on in Pennsylvania at that time? Refresh my memory.
Well,
Wasn't it in
no,
19?
but
What?
but here's the thing. Think about fireworks. When we
Right.
have Fourth of July fireworks around here, I don't know about up where you live, but
Right.
when we have Fourth of July fireworks, it will put a cloud in the air. But how would 2,000 miles away
Exactly.
some bombs being dropped and
In Pearl
great? It
Harbor.
was one of the great wars, obviously, but
Right.
I don't think they were putting up that much smoke. I think we have more smoke from volcanoes every year than
No, no.
the smoke
It said
from
war
World War
clouds.
II.
It said war clouds, and I was like, okay, I don't know how
That's
that
just me.
goes. Yeah, I didn't understand it when I read it. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But mind you, Phil did not guess that year. He did not guess that year. So
He gave no prediction either way on that year.
yeah, I don't know how that translation went. They just say, you know, screw it, you're on your own. I don't know.
Hmm.
I have no idea. I
Yeah.
just know it didn't.
Screw this shit. I'm going back in my hole and hiding from the
Beating on my door, they
Nazis.
saying, leave me alone. don't understand how he could have saw his shadow in
Right.
the first place if you watch it. Because see, if you ever watch it, it's on TV now. It's kind of like the hot dog eating contest that
Yeah.
they
Well,
have.
and we've all seen
Featuring,
Groundhog Day too. So
huh? Do what?
we've all seen the movie Groundhog Day too.
Exactly. That
So
came out in like
yeah.
'93, and that's what really
Yep.
blew up the tourism for this. And I think that's awesome. I just some of it, it was just like, I mean, Phil made it to Oprah Winfrey show, made it on the Oprah show, and I was just like, okay. And I mean, it's been
How
on.
does an overweight groundhog get on the Oprah Winfrey show?
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Ask Moonshine.
I'm
I
not
don't
going to
know.
say.
How am I gonna know? Dude, I don't have a
You
clue.
get a car. You get a car. You get a groundhog. And you get a
Oh
groundhog.
yeah, there's got to
Everybody
be
gets
plenty of groundhogs,
groundhogs.
but there's no way. You do the math. Do the math. If it's
Right.
140 years and
Right.
they live an estimated roughly about 6 to 14 years, we're looking at approximately about 10 to 14 different groundhogs. But no, we
Right.
got one. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't know. And that thing's the size of a bathroom,
One
dude.
that's a. Yeah, he is.
He's huge. And how
He's
are you going to
huge.
see a shadow? Because now they put all these lights. They get all these lights out there.
Yep.
And it's like, if he was in that burrow, it's going to stink in there because he's probably like, what's going on? What are you guys doing here? What? This year, every time you come in here and turn on all these lights, he ain't going to see no shadows. He probably just sees spots.
Right.
He probably just sees spots. He's probably like, oh, because he
Yeah,
can't see anything.
spotlights. He's like, wait a minute. The sun's out. Oh,
Exactly.
crap.
It's been 139 years. It's time for me to go.
Yeah. I'm surprised he doesn't have cataracts.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. I don't know.
Must be one hell of an elixir.
I'm telling you, dude. You think about it. If there was,
hmm
okay, we know there's not.
Yeah.
We
Dude,
know there's not.
Big
But
Pharma would suppress it. The groundhog wouldn't even get it if there was such a thing as a cream that could make a groundhog last 10 times its freaking lifespan,
think about
100
it.
times its lifespan.
Think about it. Of all the things that you can make this this elixir for to prolong life, what are we going to use it on? Use it
We're
on
going to give it to
groundhog.
the groundhog who can't predict the weather. Yeah.
I'm just like, I have a feeling Moonshine got demoted or something.
He must have. Or he's the one making the elixir and it starts with moonshine. Yeah. Little LSD, little cocaine. He'll be all right.
But I do. I think it is it's a neat thing that they have that. And I mean, for tourism and stuff like that, that's fine. I mean, I think that's great. But I mean,
Right?
all BS aside, I mean, come on, man. I mean, I'm
Why?
sorry.
The real question is why is it a national holiday when it's something that was brought over by European settlers and they totally replaced the animal, which was either a bear or a
Correct.
badger.
Badger.
And we all know honey badger don't care; they'll tear you up.
Right.
Little known fact about the groundhog: it's also known as a woodchuck, marmot, land beaver, whistler, and even a whistle pig. I've never heard that one,
Oh,
but I
man.
have heard the
Awesome.
woodchuck and the marmot. So, just little fun facts.
Little kids go to this deal. Mom, I want to get a whistle pig. That could really turn somebody's
Right?
head around a little bit. What'd you just say?
I have a whistle pig. No,
We're not talking about a talent. We're talking about something else. But
oh,
yeah.
dang! I'll hush. I retract my former statement.
But I'm telling you, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I mean, the thing is, it just, if you tell me that, if something happened to Phil, okay, this is the new Punxsutawney Phil. Punxsutawney
Right?
is the name of the town.
Well,
Okay. They
exactly.
use Phil.
But and why, of all things, choose to lie about the fact that you've had many woodchucks or groundhogs or whatever you want to call them? Phil's.
139 years.
It's
Do
yeah,
you
he's
think the age?
139 years old.
Do you think the age of it
That
makes the to say it's 139 years old? Do you think that it helps? I mean, I don't. I
I
don't
think
see
it
that.
I think it makes it sound more occult than anything.
Yeah, that's what I
Like
thought. When I
it's
read
it's
that, I was
not.
like, hmm.
I mean, and you look at how they do everything too. It's always ritualistic.
Why do you
As
think I
with
said
many groups,
saintly?
it's a ritual to check to
Yeah.
check the groundhog, And they, if you've ever watched it, they grab them out, they tap tap tap, certain
Yeah.
number of times only. I
Right.
don't remember the number of times off the top of my head because I don't really watch the groundhog stuff.
Almost
It's like, who
religious.
cares? The
Almost like a
local
religious
weatherman can't
thing.
get it right half the time,
Right.
huh?
It's almost
Yeah.
religious. That's how they do
Yeah,
it in a
exactly.
religious
That's the point I'm making. It's very occult,
occult. Yeah.
not a
That's
cult,
not a cult.
occult.
No, a
Yeah,
cult. Yes. Correct. One word.
occult. Yeah,
But that's where I
yes.
was kind of like, okay. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, and
It.
when then you take before the 90s when a
Hmm.
handful of people were there to see this, celebrate it,
Yeah, and
whatever.
you might have had the news there
Right now, all
because
of a
they did.
sudden,
They It was a national holiday thing.
thousands. You got thousands of people showing up to this thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd tell anybody.
Yeah. It's. I don't think I'd even bother spending the money. That's not really something I'd put on my bucket list.
Uh,
It's like, oh, I have to go see the 140-year-old rodent predict
it'd
the
be the
weather.
luck. The
Because he
year
gets
you
it
go,
right, whereas our local weatherman can't.
the year. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. You just said that. He does more than that.
Hmm.
Okay. He does more.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh no no no.
Well, he obviously does because he makes appearances on Oprah.
Right. No, I mean he guesses. I'm about to say guesses. He predicts other things. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I gotta find it. Dadgummit, I took it off here. You got your screen up. He is capable of of uh, of basically predicting other things, prophesying other events, other things. And I was trying to find it where I saw it was showing where again he speaks to the one guy. He speaks to him and tells him. I'm like, what? I mean, it's I don't know.
Right.
I find it hard for me to. The guy's name is Tom. He speaks to Tom, and
Right.
oh, he has
I
a
don't. I handler. don't see it.
He
Yeah,
actually
of
has a
course he does.
handler.
I wonder how he's handling this thing.
I don't know.
If the groundhog could speak. Because we've seen the way they hoist this poor thing in the air, and don't get me wrong, neither of us is like save the animals type. you
Oh man,
know,
I'd play a
I'm like
Buffalo
save them for
Nickel if
my
a
plate.
microphone was like right there on time, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, trying to pick up this. That thing looks heavy. I mean, it looks heavy.
He
But
does.
and he picks
He
it up about
looks
that
heavy.
time.
He looks like
They
he's
get up there
all
close to the
lard.
microphone like this. They get up there close, and all you see is
Yeah.
like, oh, softer. What was that?
Yeah, exactly.
Just soft. I'm just saying, man. That would end a
Right.
lot of speculation. Like, hey, I understood that. I speak groundhoggies.
Right. Well, and what's funny,
Oh,
there there are 46 alternate groundhogs too that aren't part of the Punxsutawney groundhog
correct. Correct. They do
setup
it
that
all
do
over the
the
all over the
same
nation.
prediction.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. All over all over Canada too, apparently.
Exactly. I know. What is the fascination with a groundhog? I don't get it.
Right.
You'd be better off having a
I
Bugs Bunny
don't
pop
know.
up out of a friggin' rabbit hole. Guess what?
Yeah, but it'd be more entertaining if they actually used a badger, particularly a honey badger. Hey, let's
Yeah.
see what he predicts. Oh, he doesn't want to be messed with right now.
Yeah. So, how did you prepare Elmer the Badger? Well, we haven't fed him in about
Right,
3 weeks. Oh, I'm gonna
right,
I'm gonna let you tell everybody what happens.
right. Well, another little fun fact. I know you're taking your facts from the inner sanctum there. Um,
Yes.
NOAA, which is the National Organization of
Mhm.
something, to do with weather.
Right.
I don't remember what NOAA stands for.
Right.
Um, Phil's predictions have been accurate 39% of the time since 1886. And over the
Yeah.
last 10 years, his predictions are up to a 40% accuracy,
Right.
up 1% from 39
Yeah.
over the last 100 years. Maybe
Yeah.
marrying Phyllis was a good thing.
Maybe. Maybe he put, maybe Phyllis put a little bit of, oomph in his step. I don't
Smackdown
know.
on him.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. All I know is according to the, NOAA, they say he's been accurate 39% of the time over the last 100 years. And just recently in the last 10 years, he's gone up to 40%. Oh, here you are. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. It's a government
Exactly.
agency that
Yeah.
tracks the data. So
Right.
I knew it was something official.
We can't figure out how to get the Titanic off the ocean floor, but Phil can be right 40% of
But
the time.
boy, Phil can predict the weather.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I've been laughing about this since yesterday. I couldn't help it. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I mean, I'm telling you, my whole life as a kid, you grew up thinking about it. And I mean, especially when the movie came out in the
Right.
90s. And at
I was
that
gonna say
time in
I
the
never
90s, I
even
was,
really
a teenager, you know,
right.
and to see it and know about it. And it was, and of course, then you didn't have the internet to look it up or, you know, anything like
Right.
that. And now when you actually stop for just a moment and you look it up, then you start realizing this is kind of weird. It's like I ain't got a word
Yeah.
for
Well,
it.
what's funny is I had always heard about Groundhog Day, but I'd never
Right,
seen Groundhog Day, like not the movie, even just
right,
never had seen the actual festivities or whatever you want to call them, the
right,
ritual of Groundhog Day until the movie. And I think a lot of people were like that. We saw what that little, 30-second clip on the news once a year and just said,
right.
oh, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah. Well, do you
But
remember what
apparently
was
people
it?
people are
Here a
are
couple
hung
years
up on it
ago,
now.
Bill
Uh-huh.
Murray did a Jeep commercial, and
Uh-huh.
it was hilarious. I mean, it was Bill Murray to me is he's funny as he can be. Anyway,
He's pretty funny. He's one
yeah,
of a kind for sure.
yeah. Anyway, they redid the commercial, a Jeep commercial, and he doesn't do commercials or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. And he ended up going on into a Jeep commercial, and they basically did a scene from, a clip, in the
Groundhog Day.
background of Groundhog Day, the movie itself. And
Uh-huh.
in this movie, if you watch the movie, spoiler alert, eventually, he takes the groundhog with him. Well, he takes the groundhog for a ride in the Jeep. Okay.
In the
And
Jeep.
and since and he keeps reliving this day. So every day he's doing this thing with this, he's got this groundhog. I mean, he'll be sitting there, got the groundhog in his lap, holding the
But he's
wheel. Keep your hands at 10 and 2, stuff like that. And in one moment, he's like at an arcade or something, and he's sitting there playing whack-a-mole. And he goes, "Don't be mad. I didn't invent the game." Stuff like that. And I'm thinking, it made me think when I saw that commercial. I was like, I wonder what activities they really do have at this, Groundhog Day in Punxsutawney. I mean, wonder what they do. I mean, wouldn't
right.
whack-a-mole be almost, would it be whack a groundhog? I mean,
I bet you they do. I bet you they
maybe.
do because it's literally nowadays all about the marketing. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Yeah.
tourism industry for them at this
Right.
point.
Yeah.
So,
I can just see one of them taking,
that being said,
3 card Monty. You've ever seen that game, 3 card Monty? You're sitting there, moving the
yep.
cards. Okay, which one has the elixir? Which one has the elixir? Which one has the elixir? Okay, pick mine. Yeah. You'll walk out of here either cripple or with more life. No, I won't play.
Yeah. Well, cripple, more life, or one of them is going to be a cyanide pill. So bye bye.
I'm saying it, man. When I read the deal about the elixir, I was just like, how do you keep anybody from finding it? You know?
Exactly. I mean, literally, you think the government would have torn down the dang stump, torn down the inner sanctum,
Yeah.
and taken this stuff already?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, they they for sure would have used it on Biden in the last 4 years to give him his mind back. Poor guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Ex-President. I'm sorry.
But if they did give it to him, what would he have done? But every day he comes out. Winter's coming.
Yeah, because it was made for a groundhog.
Okay, it wasn't meant for but just the groundhog. We shouldn't have gave it to him.
Right.
Oh man.
Oh Lord.
But I have to admit,
Anyway, yeah.
that was a topic that I looked up and I said we have got we have got to talk about this. And I'm going to tell you right now, as goofy as that was, I can tell you the next one is going to be the same way. That's how these are going to go. This is how we're going to roll
Yep.
this. And I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm
Let's
gonna
just
listen.
put it this way.
I'm gonna
There's a
listen.
holiday for every day of the
Yep.
year.
Yep.
And there are lots of mythological creatures in our future.
That's right.
Welcome to the holiday series at Accidental Thoughts. And with that, I'm Jason.
I'm Jimmy.
He's Jimmy. He's a bite-sized snack of a
I'm
groundhog.
looking for the elixir, baby.
And go get the elixir. Later.
Later.